So welcome to the Virtual Cheese Wars 2023, showcasing the best of British cheese. I'm Vicky Rogerson and I'll be moderating this session. Today we'll be judging best artisan soft cheese from Farm's Own Herd, which is category F1. And on our judging panel today, we have Emma Young and Rory Mellis. I'd like them to introduce themselves. Emma, you go first.
Hello, I'm Emma Young. I'm a cheese consultant, so I help open cheese businesses around the world, and I help cheesemakers in the UK. I'm also a cheese writer and a cheese judge.
Rory?
Hi, my name is Rory Mellis, director of Mellis Cheese, based up in Edinburgh in Scotland. I deal with all things retail, wholesale, e-commerce and anything that is involved in the cheese business.
That's brilliant. Thanks, guys. So moving swiftly on to our first cheese, which is F1 1154. And we'll be marking for appearance, aroma, texture, and flavour in that order.
Okay, so we have a square cheese here. Visually, absolutely clean, nice sort of slight bloomy coating to it by the looks of things. I can't really say anything wrong. I mean, there's a tiny bit of dampness on the bottom, but from just looking at the rind, there's nothing for me to say that could fault it.
No, don't think so. It's not rippled or anything. So for bloomy rind, I think the only, it's not got a lot. It's quite flat, but it's not got a lot of like rippling or build up of geo at all. It's quite.
No.
I mean, that would be the only thing that would mark it slightly down for. Is there's no kind of geo build up or nice ripple effects or.
Yeah, I agree with that. On cutting it, you can see it's got a lovely breakdown, but yeah, the rind is sort of just sitting atop around the cheese itself, so it hasn't really started integrating with the paste. It is very much a sort of topical element instead of part of the cheese. So I think along with Rory's, that's probably a similar sort of aspect where we'd expect to see a little bit more integration. Otherwise, yeah, very clean appearance. I think. Where do you sit in scoring, Rory?
Yeah, quite highly. There's no kind of discoloration. It's not dirty. It's fairly clean, like you say. So yeah, it'd be well up there with like an 8 or 9.
Should we 8.5? Yeah. On aroma, I get quite a lovely garlicky note coming off the rind.
Yeah.
And when you cut into it as well, smelling sort of the paste and rind combination is really quite pleasing. Nice sort of allium notes.
Yeah. It's quite clean.
Yeah.
Not getting any kind of like ammonia build up or.
No. It's simple but clean. So I do really like the aroma. Again, it's from the same comment we had with the rind, and it's not hugely integrating. It doesn't have a huge amount of sort of activity having on the outside, so possibly a bit more complexity there would give it more aroma.
It's quite clean, almost chemically though, in the rind. Yeah.
Say that one more time.
So it's quite clean. It's very clean, like almost kind of chemically on the nose.
Yeah.
But it is really clean. I quite like it.
7? Yeah.
Yeah.
Texture-wise, I really do like the breakdown. It's got a ever so slightly chalky heart. Not really, actually. It's just really nicely broken down. It looks perfectly custardy.
Yeah, I'd agree. It's broken down pretty nice. It's not too thick rind build up either. I wish it was a bit bigger. That'd be my only thing. Like
Slightly deeper, right?
Yeah, just a little bit taller would be lovely.
Absolutely. I completely agree, because you've got quite a lot of rind to paste ratio, haven't you, when you're looking at it, when you're tasting. So definitely, yeah, let's see what it does in the flavour. But texture wise, I'm high. I'm 8.5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
8.5. Yeah.
9. I mean, 8.5, 9. It's
Yeah. I would. Yeah. We'll just go with a 9 then. It's broken down perfectly. There's no imperfections within it.
yeah. Let's do 9. I mean, also just as a comment on the height again, to get that perfectly broken down and at the right stage of maturing at this shorter height is really cleverly executed. So
yeah,
it's a really good thing. Okay.
I think the flavor slightly laying it down for me a bit. Not a hell of a lot, but it's not got a lot of, doesn't continue anything. Again,
Right.
keep using the word flat, but it does fall quite flat and undersalted. That's, again, you're getting quite a bit of bitterness from the rind, but
Yeah.
it's a little bit slightly undersalted, I would say.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with everything you've said. I'm sad because all of the other categories were sort of singing towards this being an absolutely stonking cheese. It's a very good cheese. Just a little bit more on the flavour would get this further, but I'm finding it quite simple and it does fall off. Yeah,
even just a bit more like, I think if the appearance and the visuals was imperfect, then the cheese would maybe be a bit nicer. I think like the lack of geo buildup, the lack of bacteria that's on the surface, because it's so clean. Yeah, it and the undersalted, it kind of falls a bit flat. But if it had been maybe left a little bit taller, been left a little bit to get some bacteria build up, some funky colors, actually the flavor probably would be better.
Exactly.
Yeah, but it's a nice, it's quite clean, but
yeah,
I would like a 7.
7, agreed. That sounds good. Yeah.
The next cheese is F1 1148.
Okay, so we've got a little wash dry number.
It's nice and rippled. I'm not seeing any like major imperfections. It's a nice size.
I mean, yes, it is a very nice size. I do like the ripples. It's got a lovely sort of orangey pinky hue. I have got a fair amount of sort of hard and discoloration on the bottom, and maybe a little bit around the perimeter here. I think it looks very nice. Yeah,
this again, quite a clean, kind of a nice level of bee linens. It's kind of like a natural orange rind, rather than it being like in any sort of form of annatto or kind of unnatural bee linens. But I think it looks nice. So maybe appearance wise, on the rind looks good.
I mean, the paste also looks lovely. So when you cut into it, you've got a very nice sort of breakdown around the edges. It looks sort of quite creamy. Yeah, it's a good looking cheese. Yeah,
I think maybe like a 9. I quite like it.
8.5. Cool. I was expecting more on the aroma for a washed rind. It smells more along the lines of a bloomy to me, so I'm getting a bit of sort of garlicky allium. I'm smelling it weirdly, but the last one was so garlicky, I'm just going to try without touching it. Yeah. I'm still getting garlicky allium. Slightly irregular aroma for what I was expecting.
Again, yeah, I think you're right. It is kind of, it's more garlicky and quite punchy. I don't mind the aroma though.
No. What do you think? Like 7?
Yeah, about 7. I think it's probably all right. It's not that evident apart from the garlic.
Hmm. Texture, so visually texture looks beautiful.
Hmm.
I'm wondering whether that's going to have a slightly gritty rind. Yeah.
A bit sandy.
The paste itself is lovely. It's really smooth, silky. I'm quite distracted by the sandy rind.
The rind's quite unpleasant.
Yeah.
It's just, yeah, it's like sand stuck in the back of your teeth.
Yeah.
The paste is really nice, and it's got that kind of, yeah, like it's really nice. It's actually got quite a big depth of flavor to it. The aroma's not there, but the flavor is quite deep.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to knock it down though with that rind because it's supposed to be eaten with it, isn't it? So it's integral.
It's a shame because the paste is really nice, actually.
Yeah.
But yeah, right. Texture-wise, it'll have to be knocked down to about, yeah, 6 and a bit.
Let's
7.
do 6. It's a massive shame, but I think it is an enormous part of the experience of eating this cheese. So you don't just eat the paste.
No.
It's really unfortunate because the paste is stunning. Texture, what that was texture. Flavor.
I like the flavor. I think if you put if we've marked down it on texture, then I think the flavor deserves to be up there because, yeah, I mean the texture, we know it's not right, but I think the paste of the cheese has got a really nice deepness. It's really well balanced for such a small little cheese.
Yeah, the flavor isn't really there.
It's like a sheepier goat milky kind of, that get that kind of, yeah, it's like cheesecake kind of like taste for me. It's really nice.
It's lovely. You've got some savoury elements too, and quite interestingly, you have got some sort of savoury, meaty funk that I'd expect from a washed rind without the washed rind doing that. So it's a bit of, I'm wondering whether a week earlier this might have been perfect, but the texture in the middle is stunning now. The rind just feels like possibly it could be a bit tired.
Yeah.
I think the flavour's delicious. I'm sort of up at a 9.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's great.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next cheese is F1 1136.
That was a no-show.
Someone else, that is F1 1094.
Lovely pyramid. So we've got what looks from the outside like a sort of lactic, possibly goat's cheese.
Yeah, definitely.
Is your rind quite tacky?
Yeah, it's quite wet, but again, I think this is just, yeah, the traveling has not done this cheese any justice. It is really wet for me anyway. Appearance wise, yeah, it's quite rippled. It doesn't have much of the bacteria or blue build up at all on the outside. It's just overtaken by kind of damp and wet.
Yeah, I think, Rory, if you cut into yours as well, you'll see the wet isn't just topically, so it's got quite a lot of sort of residual moisture within it as well. So I wonder whether that's just the style or whether it's a little bit of extra drainage might get rid of that.
Yeah, I think so. Maybe even just a bit more
Drying.
Initial drying out, I think, would make a difference.
Yeah.
Because the paste looks lovely.
Ooh. The bottom rind, I don't know if you can see this, is like, it looks as though that it's got paper on it like the bottom of a bao bun.
I think
I'm not hugely into this appearance, apart from the paste. The glorious white, sort of fluffy looking paste looks perfect, but the rind again is such an integral part to this cheese that it's really bringing me down.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm around sort of 6.
Yeah, I think 6.5, I think.
6.5.
Inside's nice, but the kind of outside is just needs a bit further drying out, I think.
Yeah, 6.5.
Mhm.
Oh, it really is peeling off, like sort of papery peeling.
Yeah.
Okay, aroma. Lovely, clean, sort of, yeah, goat. It's goat, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. It's got a lovely kind of sweet, kind of like lemony, quite zesty.
Yeah. Also something a little bit deeper in sort of savoury farm, but in a nice, clean farm way. I think the aroma's really good. I'm quite high on that. I'm about sort of 8.5.
Yeah, I think it's one of the first cheeses that we've not really had to try too hard to smell.
Where do you want to go?
Yeah, 8.5 would be pretty decent.
Cool. I think the texture feels lovely. I've mentioned the peeling rind, which is incredibly unfortunate.
Yeah.
And it's tacky to the touch, but the paste itself is silky smooth, like textbook lactic curd.
Yeah, it's very velvety, I think.
Oh man, and it's delicious. Oh, that's so shame, such a shame. So texture wise, where do you want to put that?
The inside's really nice, so I'm pretty happy with like a 7.5 or an 8. I quite like the moussey velvetiness I get. I don't know if the appearance, the texture also falls in within this, which we could maybe mark down slightly.
I think if we keep it at 7.5 and not 8, I mean, I think it would be 8 and above if the rind was completely integrated in sort of lactics. You want the rind to be part of the experience, so keep it down at 7.5.
Yeah.
And then the flavour for me is really nice, really like lemony citrus, like beautiful lactic acidity, but also rich warm milk.
It's quite like cauliflower. It's got
Yeah, absolutely. Yes,
taste to it. It's really good actually.
Flavour's lovely. I'm really high up on flavour. I'm sort of like 9.5.
Yeah, I'm happy with 9.5 actually.
9.5.
9.5, okay.
Yum.
Amazing.
Thank you. So the next tease is F1 1096.
All right. You're testing us, switching to a blue.
Yeah, back into the blue.
Okay. So this looks quite white in paste.
Yeah.
Nice natural rinds.
Nice.
Nice sort of grey mottled appearance. There's nothing wrong on my rind.
No, it's quite even bluing.
Yeah.
Again, it's quite wet, but I think that's probably going to be the style of it, if I'm honest. It's visually quite nice.
I think it looks lovely. I think this is beautiful because it is wet, but I've given it a scrape, and I think that is a packaging thing, and as you said, the style. So we're expecting a bit of moisture with it in it, but I think it looks gorgeous. I'm maybe like 9.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With that, yeah.
Aroma.
Yeah, it's got quite like again, quite sweet. It's like a sheep or a goat.
Yeah.
Again, it kind of cheesecake, like biscuity, savory cheesecake.
Absolutely. Biscuity, like digestives, big time. It's got a really nice aroma. Oh, I want to eat it.
Yeah, it's got a nice clean nose. I quite like it. The aroma would be pretty high. I think it's again one of these. We've come from a blue category where we've struggled to smell anything. So this has been, it's nice to be able to like smell it.
Yeah. Where do you want to put it?
like an 8.5-ish.
I
Yeah.
think I'm spot on with you there. Yeah.
Texture, it's cut quite nice. And it is crumbly.
Yeah. My only reservation on texture is there is an ever so slightly drying texture in the mouth.
Mhm.
So you cut it, it's nice. I'm visually and I guess looking at the style, I'm feeling that it should be more on a sort of a Roquefort style in terms of that moisture and sort of fudgy content. It's not a big thing it's not anything wrong with it, but I think I would just, I don't know, maybe it is. It just feels a tiny bit dry for me.
Mhm. I'm
Slightly
getting,
powdery.
yeah, I'm getting more of that than I am dryness, more like powderiness or like slight graininess, but
Yeah.
I mean, it's got quite a high level of moisture within it, I would say. Texture wise, like I like the way it cuts, I like the way it crumbles. Maybe different in the mouth slightly, so maybe an 8, 7.
Can we do 7.5?
Yeah.
Yep.
Mhm.
And then flavor.
It's got quite similar characteristics to Roquefort anyway. Just quite, I like the punchiness of it, to be honest. Like it's got a good level of bluing, but it does come through, which is nice.
Yeah.
Again, you're getting
also got the savory sort of quite a lot of umami flavors in there as well. I think it's quite complex.
Yeah, it's quite full flavored actually. It's quite well rounded. It's not over salted either or under salted. So.
No. 8.5.
Yeah, 8.5. 8.5.
8.5. Okay, perfect.
Mine is F1 1061.
Looks like a Stilton style.
Mm-hmm.
Nice even bluing on mine.
Yeah, pretty blue. The rine's quite clean, actually.
Yeah, I mean, a tiny bit of a bruise which has gone into the paste, but it's not really affecting the overall appearance for me. I think that the bluing looks sort of textbook for this kind of style. It looks appealing. It's got a nice ivory to almost yellowy color. Probably about like an 8 on appearance for me.
Yeah, I'd be happy with that.
Yeah. Okay. Aroma.
It's quite nice, actually.
A lot of biscuit, a lot of sort of malty cereal.
It's quite nice. I quite like it.
Yeah.
You're definitely getting more off of it. Not any sort of ammonia. Quite clean.
Yeah. I think the only thing from making me score it really high is I'm just looking for a tiny bit more depth. But it is a very clean nose. It has got those cereal aromas, the ammonia is in check, so there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. So I'm more around a sort of an 8.5.
Yeah, I'd be happy with 8.5.
8.5. Cool. Texture wise, to the touch, it's got a really good crumble.
Yeah.
It is, it crumbles in the mouth as well. It is ever so slightly drier than I was expecting.
Yeah. It's a little bit, there's the breakdown around the rind's quite heavy actually, but texture wise, I think it's probably a bit too crumbly. Not too sure. It seems.
I feel it's a little confused in texture, in that I think some bits are too crumbly, some bits are a bit dry. Yeah, no, I think it's just too crumbly, isn't it?
There's a lot of breakdown around the rind,
mm,
which is kind of starting to come away from the paste, which is quite unusual for a blue cheese.
Yeah.
Especially on mine and on this piece here.
Yeah.
It's quite dense. Probably like a 7.5, 7.
7.
Yeah.
I think. And then on flavour, I am very distracted by the amount of salt in it. You sound like you like salt more than me.
I do.
But I think for me, the salt is dominating and not allowing other things to happen. Like I can taste cereal notes, I can taste malt, but I think the salt is slightly hiding things for me.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I do like salt, so I'm definitely getting a little bit of it, but usually for me, maybe for me it's fine. For other people, it could be a little bit too high, I think.
Okay.
I think you're definitely getting a depth of flavour though. You're definitely tasting the blue.
Yeah.
But yeah, happy to meet in the middle. I quite like the flavour, so I would be going like an 8. So if you go 7.
I'm happy with just 7.5. Like I only want to bring it down ever so slightly for the salt, because it has got good depth. So if you're all right with 7.5. Yeah. All right. Cool.
We're running out of space on the table.
Next one is F1 1017.
All right. So we are onto a bloomy rind, which looks very clean, but quite a thick bloom.
Yeah. You can kind of feel it around the rind as well, that it's going to be really high breakdown around the rind and then kind of more of a chalky middle, I think. But yeah,
it's a really thick rind. It's kind of hard to see there, but it's very, very thick bloom, and it is just sitting on the outside. It hasn't broken down into the cheese much.
I think, yeah, appearance wise, yeah, there's nothing like categorically wrong with it, apart from it's kind of coming. It might just be due to undersalting, but the rind is really it's pretty thick, which is not really allowing the cheese to mature all the way through. So you're getting a really heavy breakdown and a lot of slip rind.
Yeah.
So like
a lot of slip rind, yeah. Give
that another few days and the paste will just start coming. I mean, it's already coming out of the cheese. So
also, Rory, if you sort of wiggle the cheese, it breaks. So can you see that my rind's just broken? That shouldn't happen. Like you can hear it snap.
Yeah,
you can hear that.
I think it's quite a lot of slip.
Okay, so visually for me, the slip rind and the very sort of papery rind is a, although it's clean looking, it is a slight visual defect for me in that it is.
Yeah, Yeah, I think it might be down to the flavor or the acidity when we get into it a bit, but it seems to be the geo seems to be quite thick.
What do you want to give it?
Like a 5 or a 6, I think, for appearance.
Yeah, 5 for me.
Nothing crazy wrong from the outside perspective, but I think it's when you start getting to the inside that lets it down slightly.
Yeah, I'm a 5 with you. Aroma. It's very clean. It's slightly mineral, but maybe slightly too clean.
Yeah.
It smells like mushroom. It smells like Penicillium candidum. I've just got sort of white mushroom.
Yeah, it is very clean, so I'm not really getting a lot off of it.
Maybe a 6. Texture wise, right. So it's an interesting one because visually and sort of Instagrammability, it is beautiful. However, it is slipping, and that is a fault. So texture wise, it's you can see on the outside you've got it will come out. If I hold it, I'm not going to hold it like that. It will come out of the skin. So the texture is a fault. And the rind is like paper. It's actually really, unfortunately, thick and very, very chewy, unlike any rind I've had before.
Yeah, I think texture wise it's not great at all. It's still it's still really curdy and lactic, like a 2-day-old cheese inside, but then it's just got heavy breakdown, and then the rind is quite unpleasant. It's got a really bitter finish to it.
Yeah, I mean, for texture, I'm down at about a 3 or 4.
Unfortunately, yeah.
It's a shame because there's a couple of things. I mean, we've explained already, but I think unfortunately I'm a 4. I'll go with a 4.
Yeah. I'd be happy.
And then flavor wise, it is it's simple, but it is dominated by a bitter, and I think it's more of a cheese make aspect that is leading to all of these elements being slightly out of whack. So for me, flavor wise, I'm probably down at about 4 as well.
Yeah, it's very fresh because you can't really taste the breakdown that much because you're getting a quite thick rind, whereas this is like a 2-3 day curd style. So it's I wouldn't I'm not too fussed on the flavor just because of the bitter. It's quite heavily bitter.
Yeah. You okay with the 4? Do you want to?
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I think all in all, that it's a nice shape. It could potentially be quite a nice cheese.
Absolutely, yes.
Just kind of controlling the thickness of the rind, and maybe just slightly lower temperature when you're aging it might be a bit for longer. It might be better, maybe 4 weeks, 5 weeks, but yeah.
Thanks for that. So the next cheese is F11174.
Okay, so we've got another blooming. Definitely got a bit damp from the packaging and the travel, because it's just sort of around the rind.
I think outside it looks quite attractive, quite nice.
It's also slipping. It's slipping a little bit. Yeah. So cutting straight into it, you can see there's quite a sort of a heavy breakdown, but the cheese is if I do this, you'll see it's slipping out. So the rind hasn't integrated with the paste. Vicky, what do we give the last one in appearance?
5.
I think it's just slightly better, so I'd be going like a 6, 6.5.
I think so, because the rind itself is it's not chewy, it's not thick, it's just unfortunately the middle is slipping out. So yeah, 6.5. I'm happy.
Okay.
Aroma?
Fairly kind of similar. I think it's got a bit more depth to it. Yeah, it's got a bit more depth to it. It's quite similar in aroma, quite clinical. But it's got kind of like nice mushroomy notes and
I'm not getting as much of that as you. I wonder if mine got a bit more damp. So I'm happy to be slightly led by you on aroma, because mine's quite flat and just ammonia.
yeah, I'm not getting that as much. I'd probably go like 6.5, I think 7. It's got I'm getting quite a lot of smell from it.
If you say 7, could we pull it down to a 6.5 to account for mine?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Texture?
Quite soft.
It's incredibly soft. Is it a triple cream, do you think?
I wouldn't
Hello?
say so, but it is
Feels
just
like one.
it is very soft.
The texture of the cheese itself, the soft part is really nice. It's silken, it's it's rich, it's creamy. Let me just try the rind. Oh, sorry. It's got a chew, but it's not like that. It's not like paper.
No, the rind's not crazy pleasant. The texture is quite like nice in the on the mouth, though. It's quite melt in the mouth. I find it quite salty, actually.
Yeah. So texture-wise, what do you think? Like about a 6?
Yeah, kind of 6, 6.5.
6.5 is cool. And then flavour for me, I'm not getting a huge amount. It is salty. I'm probably about 6 again.
Yeah, I'd be fine with that. I think just slightly too much salt, in all honesty. I think it's just for such a fresh, cheese and the size, like the salt is quite high.
Yeah. I also think a thing to be careful on this one for the maker is that it has the rind is quite damp, which has meant that the candidum has started to die off a bit. So you don't have as lovely a bloom as I think you could get on this, and that would definitely enhance both the flavour and textural elements as well. But yeah, this could be a really, really brilliant cheese.
What's your taste score?
Oh, what did we say? 6.
6.
Yeah.
So the next cheese is F11168.
Hey.
Funky.
Oh. Different.
Yeah. Visually quite nice, actually.
Yeah. I like the shape. So you've got a slightly concave top.
Yeah.
Got feels a lot heavier than I was expecting.
Yeah, it's quite dense.
Quite dense, yeah. I like the mold imprint around the outside and the sort of greeny blue rind. It's different.
Quite nice inside as well. Just got nice even bluing, nice rind breakdown.
Yeah, it looks really nice. Great. I mean, visually, I'm really attracted to that.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a good little, it's a good little gift. It's a nice cheese, I think.
And it's unique looking. It doesn't look like But I don't know what else it could look like. It looks very like its own thing. I'm quite high on appearance. I think I'll probably be up at like a 9.
Yeah, I agree.
Cool.
Aromas again got quite a nice. Smells very savoury.
Mm.
Not undersalted. I think it's got a good. It's got a nice punchy nose actually.
It's punchy, but it's not offensive. It's like a really nice punch, isn't it? Like a a friendly punch.
Yeah, it's really nice. I'd go pretty high on the aroma.
8.
Yeah, you're not getting any. It smells like, especially around the rind, quite clean. So
I've skipped ahead, and I'm also eating it. Texture-wise, I think it's got quite a nice fudgy. So it feels really heavy, like it would be quite dense and hard. But the breakdown, that like the actual texture of the cheese is really quite pleasing. It's got a good amount of moisture. It's even throughout. It feels like a continental blue in texture.
I like that a lot. It's really well balanced, and the texture is lovely on it.
Yeah. 8.5, 9.
Yeah.
What did 9? I mean, I really like that texture.
I think 9 would be probably better.
Do 9. And then flavour, I really like it. It's again got that. It has got a punch. It is not trying to hide from being a blue, but it is a nice spice. And I think the richness of the milk is there. You've got a sort of a cereal flavour. You've got blue. You've got a bit of what is that, like malty bread. It's quite a lot going for this.
Yeah, I like it. I think maybe quite high in the flavour as well. Just 9.
9.
Yeah.
It's a very good cheese. Really want to know what this one is.
That's the winner so far. That's the highest scoring one so far.
That makes loads of sense. I mean, I'm happy with that so far. It's really good. Cool.
So the next one is F1 1220.
Yep. Did you recognise that, Rory?
Yeah, it seems familiar. But maybe not.
I don't know. Yeah.
Maybe not.
I mean, definitely not. We didn't recognise that at all. Sorry. So this one is a blue with quite a nice, very well kept natural rind. So mine looks really nicely looked after. No mite, no bruising, no damp patches.
Yeah, it's got quite a nice even bluing to it. It's got a couple of big blue strands through it, but visually it looks quite nice, nice size. Yeah, I quite like that.
Yep.
It's a nice breakdown. Probably quite happy like a 7.5 or an 8.
Yeah, I mean it's I think 7.5. No, 8. I think 8. I think it looks really lovely. Why am I not scoring it higher? I think it's an 8. Yeah, 8.
Yeah, it's nice and clean. Actually, I do like the size of it though. I think appearance-wise, it's really nice in size.
Yeah, that looks like a really nice sort of retail counter. Also to cut, yeah.
The rind's just a little bit dirty in the back.
Oh, actually, it's going onto the paste. Do you mean like the sort of the mew pores coming off?
Yeah. Aside from that, it's quite nice. So like an 8 or 8.5.
On.
Is that for appearance or aroma? So you got appearance is 8. You want to aroma?
Okay, sorry. Yeah, appearance. That's fine.
So
8 sounds. Yeah, it has. 8. Yeah, it's got a bit of that mucil coming off. I think that's, yeah,
Mhm.
didn't see that to start with. And it is going onto the paste. Right.
Aroma's really nice though.
Yep.
Yeah, it's got a really nice clean nose to it. Maybe not as punchy as the previous one.
Not as punchy, but I think it's definitely, it's got some more subtleties, but I think it's not just a one-dimensional aroma. I think it's very pleasing. Well,
Mhm.
maybe more of like a 7.
Yeah, I think so. It's not as like punchy as I like it, but nice and savory, no ammonia. So yeah, 7.5.
Sure. And then texture.
It's quite crumbly.
It is, but it's also a little bit pasty.
Mm-hmm. It's quite pasty.
I think out of all of the criteria, that's the thing I'm not as sure about, the texture.
I think the flavor is really nice though.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'd be happy, yeah, with a 7, or if you want to go.
7's good for texture, right? I think it's not it's not faulty. I just think a little bit more give or a little bit more crumble and sort of a bit more definition might get that a bit higher for me. But the flavor is lovely. It tastes like soy sauce.
Yeah, it's really
nice.
It's a lovely flavor, and it's just very well balanced.
Yeah.
I think it's a great little cheese, actually.
Yeah, me too. I really like that flavor. It's incredibly Moorish. 9.
Yeah, I think it's probably the best score. I think I really like it.
Do you want to go higher?
No, yeah, 9's fine. I think it's for this cheese. It's really, really nice.
Cool. That's great. I want to know what that is too. Building a shopping list.
So the next one is F1 12222. 1222. One with 3 twos.
Whoa! This matches our aprons. Look. It's so vibrant. It doesn't look as vibrant on the camera as it does in real life, but my goodness.
Yeah, it's very orange.
Cool. Wow.
Striking.
Yeah. I have a fair amount of sort of white flaky bits of mold on the outside of mine. Do you have the same?
Yeah, I think it's just temperature and moisture that's generated it, though. It's just quite high humidity and built up quite a bit.
It doesn't make it, unfortunately, look that appealing, though. It is something that's really distracting me. Let's cut it. Feels very dense. Oh, yep, dense. It's dense. Nice looking sort of continental wash rind paste.
Nice breakdown. Vibrant color. Maybe just let down by the kind of white speckles, but
yeah,
I'd say, yeah. I mean, I don't think that's natural bee linens. I'd be surprised.
No, that is definitely not natural.
I'd be surprised if it was. Like 7.5, 8. I do like the colors, and I like the size. The inside's kind of broken down really nicely. I think just slight fault within.
I feel the color is ever so slightly too vibrant and not natural. And the white is really, it's coming off on my fingers. Like I've got some weird stuff happening. Can we bring that down to 7.5?
Yeah.
Cool. Aroma. Funky.
Yeah. I don't know. It's quite clinical.
Hmm.
I'm getting quite a kind of chemically nose off of it. It's quite punchy though.
I'm getting a bit of your garlic again, but not in a like sort of fresh garlic way.
No. Yeah. It's still very garlicky, quite punchy, a little bit chemically. For me, the aroma is not crazy pleasant, but
5.
yeah, maybe a 6. It's definitely got a punch to it though.
Yeah.
Probably a 6.
I'm happy with 6. Yeah.
Yeah.
Texture, I do like the pudge. I do like the breakdown, and I just feel like this could do with maybe 1 week extra.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's got a nice breakdown around and it'll keep well for sure.
And on the texture, it's quite pasty, but I don't dislike that. I just think it needs a little bit more relaxing time in a maturing room, so that's bringing me down ever so slightly.
I think it's got a nice flavor, a nice texture. I think the rind's quite hard. It's been dried out quite a bit. It'd be really nice if it was just either I don't know, washed or kept at a slightly higher humidity, and not dried out as much.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks as though the orange is more for color than for the washed element, and I think that, as Rory said, having that slightly less dry, slightly more washed textural appearance will permeate through into the cheese and help this to break down a bit more. But at the moment, what are we on texture?
Texture.
7.
Yeah, the inside is really nice. It's just you kind of just want to cut the rind off. Really, is the only thing you want to do with it, because it's quite tough to eat. But if you kept it higher humidity, even just washed it a bit more and a bit higher temperature, you get a really nice kind of sheen on it, which would be more resemblant of a wash rind cheese. It's just a bit hard around the outside that's letting it down, but the inside's quite punchy and flavorful.
Agreed in flavour. Are you all right with a 7 on texture?
Yeah.
And then flavour, I'm really, I like it. I think the flavour really does come through more than it would let on from looking at the appearance and the texture visually. So I think for flavour, you've got quite a lot of sort of savoury, meaty things happening within.
From own herd as well, I think it's impressive to get like that bolder flavour out of it.
Totally, yeah.
Where
do you want to put it?
Like resemblant of like a Pont l'Evêque or
exactly. It's definitely like a Normandy style, right? Because the texture itself feels sort of camembert-esque in the breakdown. But yeah, in flavour, you're definitely sitting in like Pont l'Evêque land.
Like
an 8. Yeah, I'm happy with an 8. Yeah.
Okay. And then the last one is F11199.
So, okay. Back to Bloomy.
It's going to be the same sort of scenario, unfortunately, with the.
Feel like it slipping. Not too bad.
Less so, but again, visually, like it looks nice. It's a lovely size, good clean rind. Maybe a bit thick on the rind again. It's broken down quite a bit inside.
You held a bit closer. See. Yeah.
Broken down quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean, I think the breakdown looks quite lovely. The rind itself is pretty clean. It is slightly not damp, but you can see around the outside there's been a bit of moisture, which has sort of killed off a bit of the candidum, but I don't think it's a big issue. I actually quite like the visual, and the rind it is thick, but it's not thick.
Mhm.
I mean, visually, I think I really do like the breakdown. At this stage, it's actually been sent in at what I think is completely perfect ripeness for this cheese.
Yeah, you're not gonna get very more days out of it.
No.
Just putting it bang on.
Yeah. What do you want to give it?
Appearance, I quite like the appearance. Again, it's a nice size. Like an 8.
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah.
There was a bit more. Not really had many. It's got like a nice build up, I think, of geo.
Yeah, 8.
Aroma, I'm getting quite a chemically clean cleanliness off of it. I don't know if that's maybe the garlic that I'm actually smelling, but it smells really clean, like more chemically clean than.
Bit chlorine-y kind of clean, you mean, or? Yeah. The aroma is slightly unfortunate for me. I don't get much off it either. It is a little chemical, a little ammonia. 6.
Yeah, I mean, I'd maybe go a little bit higher.
6.5. 6.5. I don't think I could go to a 7 just because those are the main things I'm getting off it, and I'm not getting any sort of cheese aromas. So I think if we can do 6.5.
Yeah.
Cool. Texture, I really do think that the paste is perfect right now. So as Rory said, it is not going to go loads further, but for right now it is spot on. So that's an excellent choice of batch to send in.
Paste is really nice.
Paste is really nice. It's custardy. It's kind of tacky, but it doesn't coat your mouth, and the rind isn't distracting.
No, it's not that bad. I thought it'd be worse, actually.
Yeah, I think it's actually 8. Yeah, and then flavour. This will be an interesting one. So I think this is quite salty. Do you or not?
No. I'm not getting a lot from it, if I'm honest. I think the mouth coating feel and the creaminess has just come from the texture. I'm not getting a whole load of like what you'd expect off a bloomy like vegetal mushroom, like punchy flavors. Even it's nice and clean for sure, but I'm just not getting any like depth to it at all.
Agreed. What do you think then? Like a 7?
A 7, yeah. For me, like the texture is definitely above the flavor.
The texture is wonderful. I really like the texture on that. Yes. What did we say for flavor? We said 8, didn't we, for flavor? For texture, sorry. So
yeah, like 7.5. Yeah,
7.5 for flavor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so that's all the cheeses. So at the moment, the so F111168 is in the lead. That's first. And it's 1096, 37.75.
Which one, sorry?
1096 is coming in at second. And then 1094 is coming in as third.
1096 was this guy, I believe. 1, 2, 3 backwards. Yeah.
1094, 1096, and 1168.
1168. 1168. I've lost 1168. Rory, do you know which one 1168 is? No, this is 1168.
That's one.
That's
That's
one.
one. Yeah.
Sorry, yeah.
And then
Yeah.
there was this one, and then there's
1094 and 1094 and 1096.
1, 2, 3, 4. That's the
that's
yeah,
this.
that's the orange dude, isn't it?
No, this is what I've got for 1094.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I had in this.
Oh yeah. So the 1, 2, 3, 4. 1094. Okay. Yes, the pyramid, exactly. Yes. Okay. Who's winning?
That
one.
Yeah, that one.
That one.
What do you think?
By a few points. So there's not much margin in it.
Oh,
That's
fine. Okay, well, we're done then. Yeah.
39.5. And then the second one, 1096 is 37.75. And then the 1094 is 36.75. So, yeah.
Cool. Okay, perfect.
Thank you for judging. That's been excellent, really interesting. Some really funky teasers there. So just again, thank our sponsors, South Carnarvon Creameries for the judges pack and Butler's Farmhouse judges pack. And thanks to judges for the hard work. And make sure that you listen in on Wednesday, 17th of May, when we judge the final classes, including Best English and Best Welsh and Best Northern Irish, and find the Supreme Champion. So thank you for your time. Cheers, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.